So back in 2022, around April, I hit the 1 million monthly listeners on Spotify mark. And I was like, heck yeah, let's go to 2 million. But what I noticed was after about 6 months of being at about a million monthly listeners, it started to decline. So I want to share with you the success and the struggle because I think it's really important not just to share the wins all the time, but share the hardships. Because whenever I get on stage, or maybe I'm sharing a video like this, or just writing an email, I always realize that people relate more to your struggle than they do your success. And so what happened was, and how I got to a million is, number one, I was releasing content. I'm pretty sure we had a new album come out, so I was releasing a lot of singles. I was doing collaborations. We had a few TV film placements. But I also, which I think is the biggest reason this happened, is I got inducted into Spotify Discovery Mode as a beta launch before it went public. Okay, I got an email from one of the distributors that we distribute our music through, and I got invited to be a part of this beta program. And if you don't know what Spotify Discovery Mode is, it shares your music algorithmically to fans who have already got their song like on autoplay in the radio playlist. And so all of a sudden my songs are getting shared out. Now what's interesting was, even though I opted in my whole catalog, only certain songs took off. And again, I remember when Spotify Discovery Mode was first coming out, everybody thought like this was going to be this, ticket to free streams and all this stuff. But again, the cream rises to the top. The hit songs rise to the top. But what was really cool was I had a song called Firestarter, and it wasn't even in my top 10. And all of a sudden, it just shot through the frickin' moon because obviously people were responding to it, right? So it brought all these new streams, all these new listeners. And obviously, Spotify Discovery Mode takes, I think it's a 20 or 30% commission off the first stream. So anybody that listens to your song in the audio autoplay radio feature, the first stream is commissioned, but then all the other ones are not. And so not only did we go up to a million monthly listeners, I saw my royalties shoot through the roof. It was incredible, and it was awesome, right? But then I noticed it start to go down. And guess when it started to go down was when they eventually released Spotify Discovery Mode to everybody else. And they started letting more and more people into the program because they wanted to do a small test group of people to see, if this thing was working. And the same thing with Spotify Canvas. I remember we got that first before they rolled it all out. And so what's really important though is that you don't give up, right? Like I could get bummed out. Right now we got 520,000 monthly listeners about. We've got about 260 plus people listening to my music right now. I'll put it up on the screen here. I looked it up before I made this video of how many people stream my music, and that goes up and down. Sometimes it's under 200, sometimes it's over 300. I'll have to do a whole video of a 24/7 video to see what's the highest peak of how many people are listening to my music at once. But right now we're at about 520,000 monthly listeners, and I want to get back to a million. And so I'm going to continue to do the same things that I've been doing. We always opt into Spotify Discovery Mode, of course. I'm still releasing singles. We're running ads to via Facebook and Instagram to playlists that I control that have a ton of my songs in them. I'm still writing for TV and film. We had a song in the Olympics, Super Bowl, ABC show. We had a couple other ones, and those gave songs bumps, right? Like really big bumps. Sometimes when other fans are making shorts of my content because we've marketed and promoted our songs so much that other fans are now organically using them, we're seeing bumps from that. But what I really think is going to take it to the next level is me collaborating with bigger artists. Like just tapping into somebody else's monthly listeners. Like I did a collaboration with a smaller artist this year, and their monthly listeners just shot up by like 10,000 just by doing one song with me. All of a sudden, instantly, 10,000 plus monthly listeners. When we do another song, it'll probably jump up to 30,000 or whatever. And I've seen massive bumps when I work with bigger artists. And what I noticed is the reason a lot of artists, we don't hit our goals isn't because we aim too big and miss the goal. It's because we aim too small and we hit it. So it's better that you shoot for the moon, because even if you miss, you land among the stars. I think that's a Les Brown quote. But you've got to aim bigger. You've got to think bigger. Sometimes, like, and even me, it's like, why am I just like aiming so low? Why am I scared to reach out to someone with 2 million monthly listeners or 1 million monthly listeners when I've got over 500,000, right? Or someone with 750 or someone my level. But sometimes we shrink, right? And we get insecure and we don't reach out because maybe we're scared of rejection or we're scared of doing the work. But I want to encourage you to do things that you've never done before if you want to achieve things you've never achieved before. Like if I want to get to 2 million or 4 million monthly listeners or even back to 1 million, I've got to do things differently that have gotten me to 500,000, right? Like what got me here is not going to get me there. And so if I keep doing the same things over and over again, I'm just going to keep doing the same things, right? I got to think differently. How can I reach more people? One thing that we've done differently, and this is in my Facebook ads templates training, and just so you know, like, our ad template, some of our ads, like I've spent over hundreds of thousands of dollars just on one creative, right? Like, so ads freaking work. Okay. But one thing we've been doing now to grow our streams more is not just targeting US and Canada, but we're targeting more international. Number one, it's a lot cheaper. And a lot of those other countries are trigger countries, right? So you got your Brazils, you've got your Europes, right? UK, Germany, Finland, Denmark, all the European countries, right? Those are cheaper to run ads to because there's not as much competition. Australia, New Zealand, I could keep naming all these countries. But at the end of the day, it's the songs that are the hits, right? But what I've realized is when I'm promoting a song, because I'm always promoting one song at a time, right? But it goes to a playlist, so all the other songs get the lift. But it's always the song in the front that I'm promoting over a period of time, and that period of time is at least 30 days. Because I want to give Spotify enough data over a period of time so that it can say, oh my gosh, okay, it can trigger the popularity score, so that goes up. It gets my saves up, my shares up, and of course the streams up, so there can be enough data so now Spotify can now take it and run with it. Like we just had the Olympics, and I forget it's the relay race where you're taking the baton, right? And you're running, and then you're passing it off to the next person. Well, if we look at our songs like that, you got to run with your song hard enough and long enough until you can pass it off to Spotify because they've got enough data and now they can run with it and they can get you more streams and more fans than any ads, any TV placements or, influencers, whatever. Like that algorithm, once that thing's going, it's game over, baby. And I've just seen it. It's just like crazy how many streams we get from the radio algorithmic playlist. Number one, because of Spotify Discovery, there's also Discover Weekly and all the other algorithmic playlists that get triggered, but you've got to give Spotify some data, right? And so you've got to be willing to do collaborations, run ads, tour, whatever it is for you that you want to focus on, and focus on that and master that before you try and do all of them. Right? You want to become master. Maybe it's at running ads. Maybe it's at working with influencers. Maybe it's playlists, right? Maybe it is touring for you. But like you want to look at all those, okay, what's the one thing that I can do out of all those options that will really leverage me? It's like, it's not just getting on a whole bunch of playlists that barely get me any streams. Well, what's the one playlist if I get on that, it's game over, where I'm going to get tens of thousands of streams, right? And maybe that's your own playlist. Right? Like I'm promoting my own playlist and we're getting tens of thousands of streams from it because I got all my songs in there, right? And I'm promoting that one thing and I'm getting the growth. When I've said this with radio, not all radio stations are created equally. When you get on a Sirius XM station, you're played all across America, all across Canada, all across Mexico. And it's freaking huge, right? So what's the Sirius XM station in your genre? Right? That you need to build the relationship. What's the biggest radio station in your state that plays your genre? Instead of just getting all these little college stations or all these little micro stations or, we try to do these little easy things, and that's fine to build momentum and get some wins. But what's that one big thing that if you get that, then it's just like, it's over. You know what I'm saying? So I hope that helped. Again, we got lots of resources below. Facebook ads, templates, and training. I'm telling you, those are all my best ads, training. And for launching your song, get the song launch checklist if you have not got this so that your song can be successful, and just do the freaking work. And don't give up, man. Don't give up. I could get angry or whatever, and it was frustrating. It was really frustrating watching the streams go. I'm like, what's happening, right? And you can either get bitter or you can get better and just have fun with it. And God has kept me very stable, my beliefs in God, and I just read this post I want to share with you. My buddy just posted this: the kingdom of God is big enough for everyone to thrive. Don't ever believe the lie that if other people do well, you won't. We can all take dominion, love the calling that you have, not the calling that you want. And so that's just all about it's a big enough pool for everyone to win. When you see someone else winning, celebrate them, encourage them. It's very easy in the TV film writing world because it's pretty small. When you see someone else get a placement or something like that and you didn't, you can be like, oh, well, why did they get it or whatever, as opposed to celebrating them. There's lots more placements. There's lots of room for winning. Like, there's billions of people on this planet. And so we want to work together and celebrate. So Proverbs 24:16 says, even though a righteous man falls down 7 times, he gets up and goes again. So if you've fallen down, you feel discouraged, I want to encourage you to pull yourself back up. No plan B. Don't stop. You got this.